TitleMatchNetwork.com.
In '88, you left with you went to the World Wrestling Federation. What were the circumstances behind that? Was there tension between you and Ric Flair, or?
No. TBS had Turner had bought Crockett out. Anytime a corporate company comes in, they bring corporate mentality, not knowing anything about the industry at all, except they did numbers. We had moved to Dallas at the time, and in Dallas we had set up office. Jim Crockett came to me one day and he said, they don't want you to book anymore. Corporate, Jim Hurd and these guys that they hired. And, but they want to talk to you about talent, working. Well, I thought I was fucking, I thought I was the king of Sheba at that fucking time. I can't, fuck them. And Jim Hurd, my attorney, met with him. Now we're in attorneys, which I never had at this time and all this stuff. And said we want him to be a heel. And we give him this much money in percentage of this town or whatever. So it's good. But I said, fuck him. I said, the American dream is, I'm not going to do that. I actually said that. And we turned it down. So I said, that's cool. Now what am I going to do? So Florida Championship Wrestling was dear to my heart. And barely afloat with the Nasty Boys and Michael and Steve Kern and Mike Graham, one of my closest friends out of the 5 that I have probably. And I went down there and spent 140, 50 grand, lost it. The company had owed money, like unbelievable amount of money. And I really wasn't into it yet like I could be now to run in a rural America territory or the old territories. And sit there and waited and Vince called, And when he called, I had the idea of when I was there with Superstar, and when I was there, I actually had the idea of overthrowing Pat Patterson, not Hulk Hogan. I wanted the job as his right hand, not knowing how close him and Pat were. I love Pat Patterson, but I wanted that job. I wasn't, and people didn't understand this either. I wasn't so much into me working in the ring because I loved creating behind the scenes as I did the last years at WCW. And I wanted that job. And I told him that day, and Vince had people that were very loyal to him. And if he pissed on one, then it pissed him off, and that's the way he should be. But I made no bones about it, straightforward, that I wanted the job as assistant booker to him or whatever it was, whatever the title was. Right. I wanted that. Okay. So I think I was there, a year and a half or something, maybe at the most. I think that he tested me to see if I could get this gimmick over with Juanita, and I did. And
did you feel it was a knock on you putting you in polka dots?
No, because I wore in Florida. I used to wear all kind of shit. People did. I wore polka dot headbands and hats and ruby begonia hats. Shit, that was nothing. Okay. But I said okay, because he asked me. I didn't have to do it. He was like that. He asked me, "You want to do this? You don't want to do it? Fine." You know what I mean? Right. And it wasn't like if you don't do it, you know what I mean? Right. And I said, okay, I get this. I want to have some fun here. I get this over. Right. And I got it over. So it got over. And so they said, oh, fuck, shit, it's got over. And Juanita was not my choice. My choice was a Afro-American hooker off the street. Kind of like Sherry, but kick your ass, right. My man type deal. Vince had softer, a common man, common girl mentality. And it worked, right. And so I made in a year and a half, I made a shit pot full of money, almost as much money as working my ass off 28 hours a day, 7 days a week for Crockett when I was creating it. So it was kind of easy, you know what I mean? And he knew I wanted, and he broke Dustin in, and he knew I wanted to, unfinished business at WCW. That the way I went out, and I had an opportunity. I went to the Plaza Hotel then in New York City. Jim Hurd, Jim Barnett, Turner, a whole ball of wax. Come in and run run wrestling. Went to Vince, let me go, took my marketing. 2 or 3 years, he would send checks at that time till it ran out of how much I would have made, with the dolls. And one of my dolls is one of the top sellers right now in the country. It's unbelievable, And so I said, okay, I went back and I found a corporate structure that was unbelievably. It was hard. I don't think anybody could have got it out. I got it back up to the table to where, when Bischoff took it with Hogan, and he got all the talented people, and he had a vision that he took what I had tried to build back to that point, because I had some great kids, great guys, Cactus Jack and them guys. We had at center stage, we had some of the greatest TV tapings, Paulie, in the history of our business, man. But we couldn't get over that hump. You know what I mean? But we were working on it. We did some great shit. And, but the first, and Turner, TBS to this day has been great to me. And Turner has been tremendous since 74. I've been with it since 74. So I don't have nothing bad to say about Turner.
Right.
TBS. WCW. They had guys run their industry at the first that were not into the business,
Yeah, Kip Fry and all that.
Yeah, and so that's what hurt me, to where I had 9 bosses. You're trying to run with Crockett. I had Crockett, I had Eddie Graham, I had Vince, or they just had me. But now you got 9 or 10 bosses, 10, with all different philosophies. It took a hell of a guy, a hell of a creative person to fight and battle all that all the time I did. That's why I'm so much at peace right now with myself in this industry. After finally realizing that's not the end. Before I'm too old, I want to do some other things and have some fun, and for real. And that wasn't the end to it. I fought so hard, I didn't want to give it up. It was my baby, and they were killing it, and I didn't want to give it up. And then Eric took it, and it breathed unbelievable life. And Dustin came back, and I said, it felt good.
Right.
So I just said, it was a therapy. I said, that's it. So we don't agree. Release. You release me. Whatever you want to call it. Don't make a shit. I think Meltzer put it right. He wasn't fired.
Right.
He said he didn't want to do the thing with Dustin because it was a serious deal. It was emotional for me. And that's true. I don't know where he got it from. But he actually, for once, what I hear, told the truth about what happened. And we went our own ways. And my blessing to them. And they were good to me. So, but I feel really at peace with the business right now and looking for a new era, a new step of it.
Do you want to talk about Dustin and your relationship with Dustin on here?
Never was around him as a child. Cody, like I have been with Cody. I missed all them times. I didn't want to miss it with Cody. I was on the road 380 days, 429 days a year, whatever the shit was, making my living, busting my ass, divorced, 2 beautiful children, Kristen and Dustin, that I loved so dearly and thought financially was enough, seeing them every once in a while. Now I know that was wrong. I was wrong as a dad about a lot of stuff that I did. He was completely right about feeling the way he did about me. We've patched it up. I love him more than anything. I feel he loves me. My daughter loves me. They went through hard times. I did what I thought was right. I can't go back and change it. But after 4 years, I got him back. And Cody adores him, a 14-year-old, until my 17-year-old. And he's going through some hard times right now that I went through. The same thing has happened.
Right. And
it's ironic. But when my dad died and he was born that day on the reels, when I say it's going to shoot for real, it was special. There's something special about that. So I think that now he has an opportunity to maybe, he took the first weirdest, most unbelievable, I'm going to take a step into the next future gimmick and made it work.
What are your thoughts of that?
I thought it was tremendous. My God, man, how could, if you were going to go that way with your business, I mean, they didn't even scrape the surface with it though. I think he would have been, world champion. He could have been on every talk show. He was that was out there. That was as far out as you're going to get. And he made it work. Talent-wise, he made it work. And God, I thought it was, like it or not, I mean, it was tremendous. But then it just kind of faded off. You know what I mean? Follow-up's important.
Right.
TitleMatchNetwork.com